dias, Bolquete, Katal, Cherokee. Welcome to the Radio Gals, Dee and Denise, coming to you live on Radio Cherokee 103.3 FM, courtesy of the Tuesday Market at Tap Out, every Tuesday morning at 9 a.m., just across the Feria Bridge in Bolquete.
We're chatting about what's new, what's regular, and what's up every Monday at 10 a.m. with a bit of music tossed in for good measure. Maybe grab a grab a scratch pad and a pen for events or phone numbers, or just replay the show on YouTube.
Have you got something happening and you want people to know? Drop us a WhatsApp to 645685539 and we'll shout it out. Good morning to our engineer Bolivar, and thanks for getting us out across Cherokee every week. Would you like a bit of music during your lunch break today? Tune in right here for DJ Mike Weber, Mondays and Fridays at noon for the Strange Brew Music Show. We also want to thank DJ Mike for putting together our little promo blurb. You'll be hearing it elsewhere here on Radio Cherokee 103.3 FM.
Today is Monday, August 9th, and in the U.S. it's National Rice Pudding Day. A variety of recipes exist for rice pudding, and I don't want to know any of them. All of them include cooked rice as the base ingredient and combine milk with bread. Sugar, I always think of that face that Lucille Ball makes when she's doing the Vita Vegemin, and she says, it tastes just like candy. And she goes, whoa. That's what I'm thinking. Sugar, molasses, or honey gives the pudding a sweet taste along with the other flavors such as vanilla, nutmeg, and cinnamon. Eggs hold the dish together, and butter gives it a rich, creamy consistency. I like the butter idea.
In the Guanacaste region of Costa Rica, there is a dichu, a local saying, huele como arroz con leche. And this is a phrase that's used when a young couple starts getting serious about each other, because it means that, you know, she's baking things and trying to get his eye and trying to worm her way into his heart. And, of course, we all know food's a good way to do that with gentlemen.
We would like to welcome Brian Sherwin to the show today. He is spearheading a plastics repurposing program here in Bolquete. He has collected and processed more than 1,300 pounds of plastic waste. His first goal is 20,000 pounds, and his mission to reduce the stress on the landfill, which is going to take a community effort. Welcome, Brian.
Ladies, thank you so much for having me on today. I'm really excited to be here.
And tell us about your project. Tell us what you got going on.
Yeah, you know, really it all starts with, just things I've seen. I've traveled around this world. I've gone to 26 different countries. I've been diving in most of those. I moved to Bolquete in 2018, and I have a family here, 14, 10, and 11 months old. So the future of this country is really important to me. So, you know, when I was able to see the problem overseas in countries like Indonesia and where we're at right now, that if we don't do something immediately, we're going to be Indonesia in 10 years. And I don't want to see that happen to this country. This is where my family is. This is where I put my roots. And, you know, that's what this initiative is about, is doing something better for our entire country.
Does your project have a particular name?
Yeah, well, the name of my company here in Panama is End Ocean Pollution. I wanted people to know exactly what we do, and that's my goal as a diver. And it's something that obviously affects what we do here on land. And also, I have an initiative here called Bolquete Fuerte, which we're starting to engage with schools to do educational things and also reach out to the community to get them involved.
So what's going on in Indonesia that's so horrible?
Well, what happened, you know, and it's been going on for a long time, is the United States is exporting over 6 million tons of plastic annually to countries in Asia and Africa, Indonesia being one of them. Well, they're a country that mismanages 85% of their own trash, and they're small islands. So imagine millions of tons of plastic coming from the West, and they already mismanage their own trash. So what you have is just a perfect storm of not enough landmass or landfills there, people that are poor that just don't have time to worry about the pollution, and you go there and it is just covered head to toe. I mean, I went diving there the day that changed my life, and really, I was on a snorkel trip. My girlfriend at the time wanted to take it, and I wasn't big on those because I was a spear fisherman and a diver, but I went. And when we pulled up to the spot, you couldn't jump in the water without hitting the plastic.
Oh my
And as
gosh.
a human being, I was just so incredibly ashamed, you know. And then I thought, oh, it's the people of Indonesia. And that was a lie, too. It wasn't just their fault. It was the plastic that my country was exporting. And when I remember back, I think, like, one of those plastic bottles could have been mine.
Wow.
So a local problem has turned into a global problem because the ocean gyros take it everywhere. So we've got a global problem, and that's really what inspired me to get to where I am today.
Right.
And what is your current initiative right here in Boquete?
Right now, the biggest part is collection and getting people involved. And that's a difficult thing. It's a really difficult psychological thing. We're used to throw it away and it's gone and we forget about it. And, in our town, with just over 20,000 residents, Panama right now is one of the biggest users of plastic in Latin America. It's between like 1.25 pounds to 1.5 pounds a day. So you can imagine 20,000 residents using that much plastic. I mean, we're potentially speaking, it could be around 20,000 pounds a day of plastic that we're sending to our landfill. So we've got a lot of opportunity to get better. We have less than 1% participation rate right now. And I don't see that as a bad thing. I see it as an opportunity for us to get better. So
we have,
that's where we're
because
focused.
of our recycling efforts here, I'm amazed how many people are getting involved with bringing their trash or their recyclable trash to the fairgrounds every Friday. I mean, when I first started working, they could have an appointment for 18 people, and now it's 18 per hour. It's just coming and coming, and the town is really into it, and they're driving, the mayor's office is driving around town and collecting cardboard, but they're also collecting plastics. So, and we have a great, what's the word I'm looking for? I can't think of the word I'm thinking of. Well, on Friday, I spoke with the mayor's wife, and she agreed to let Brian have all the plastics that we're collecting at the fairgrounds.
Well, to tell you how easy this is, when we knew that we were going to have Brian on today, Dee and I started collecting just what we could get in a couple of days. And what would you guess that is? That's
It's at least a few pounds, if not five.
That's a couple of pounds of plastic.
It's a couple of pounds of plastic and very easily collected. I mean, they're usually big pieces. Real quick, I just want to thank Dee and remind everyone that every Friday you can take your recycling to the Feria. It's open from 9 to 2 o'clock.
9 to 2 or heavy rain.
These guys are there. They're working so hard for our community, and it's going to take all of us, for this. I'm just so excited because I did volunteer before the current administration got involved, and it sounds like the participation you guys have now is just so much more than before.
Oh, it's
So
fabulous.
really
They have they have people with the mayor's office coming and going. We have a core group of people, and then people have community service they need to do, and they come through, and just people that had to do community service one time say, I want to do this all the time. I'm going to keep coming back. I did my service, but I like it so much. It's really fun to do. I really enjoy it immensely. And I was so proud of the mayor's wife to say, yes, we can do it. Because you've been persistent coming every Friday trying to catch her. They were on vacation. And you were trying to catch her to ask. And then I just said, let's do this. Brian's going to come. Let's just give him our plastic. And she's like, yeah, let's do it.
Well, I can't tell you how much it meant to me, and I know it's just getting people's garbage, but to me, the way I see it is the biggest thing we need to change is the way we look at plastic waste. We need to see it as a valuable building material because it is. It's incredibly durable. It will last 500 years. So it's something right in our community that we need to discover that can be so beneficial. And that's really the goal for me, is to turn Boquete into the blueprint for us to take to other towns.
When we come back, we're going to find out more about the building materials. We're going to go to our first song today, which the group is absolutely hilarious. Their name is Formidable Vegetable, and it's the Plastic Song.
There's this stuff that's everywhere. Well, I can see it right here and over there. It comes from deep below the ground, and we spend a lot of time just spreading it round. I'm talking about plastic. It's not fantastic because it never ever goes away. Don't want to use it, we've got to lose it, because otherwise it'll be here to stay. I had this friend who got the snack that came all wrapped up in a plastic sack. I said, dude, just nude your food, and if it comes in plastic, take it back. Because plastic, it's not fantastic, and it's always gonna cost more cash. Don't wanna use it, we've got to lose it, because it always ends up in the trash. What do you do instead of wrapping up your food in plastic? You can refuse and say, pretty, pretty, please don't bag it, bag it, bag it. Get a water bottle made of metal, take it, make it a habit, habit, habit. 'Cause we don't wanna end up on a desert planet swimming in plastic. Because plastic, it ain't fantastic, and we've got a load of better ways. Don't wanna use it, we've got to lose it. Come on, let's make it today a no plastic day. I said, make it today a no plastic day. Yeah, let's make it today a no plastic day.
Sorry, 14% of clothes are made.
Welcome back to the Radio Gals with Dee and Denise, brought to you weekly thanks to the Tuesday Market at Tap Out, where you can drop off your plastics, pet a pooch, get your chocolate fix, and grab some super fresh seafood from Miguel the Fishmonger. Dee, who's our featured vendor today?
Well, it's Crystal Culp. She has some fabulous essential oils and creams. I actually use her body butter. Oh my. It is so good. It's all natural, has a lovely scent. You only need a little bit of it, and it is fantastic. And she has diffusers, and you can put the oils in that, and like you can put some lavender in that and just like chill and relax and smell. Your house smells good. She's in the corner next to the bar in the Hex room. So I recommend you stopping by. Check out her body butter. You will love it.
Sounds awesome. Did you know that Isabella's Bakery is supporting the vaccine initiative by giving a 10% discount with proof of your first dose and a 15% with proof of your second? Thursday to Tuesday from 8 to 6. You can also drop off your donations for Kirsten Cares for Cats. She needs cat and kitten food as well as cat litter to help feed 170 Cherokee cats.
Hey, did you hear about Super Baru?
No.
15, is it 15%
Yeah.
off if you're vaccinated? You
Isn't
show
that
them your
cool?
card? Super Baru off your bill. If you show your vaccine card, you get that much percent off.
Every little bit helps.
It does help. Time to satisfy that craving for a burger? Head over to Picatas Grill. Is that right? Am I saying it right?
Picatas.
Oh, Jesus. Pitacas. P.
Picatas.
You gotta put
Yeah,
the.
we need
you
that-
gotta
we
you
need that
gotta
on a
redo
sign,
this.
Bolivar.
You've gotta put the dash in between the I and the K. Picatas Grill,
Yeah,
because I've got Picatas here.
Yeah, because it's the K in Spanish is pronounced as Ka.
Picatas Grill. Get yourself a big old cheeseburger and chill out on the landscaped patio. Add some yuca fries. For a few more calories. Yeah, a few more. Picatas. Call 720-3208. Dine in or carry out. Open from 2 p.m. daily.
Last Thursday was a total hoot at the stand-up comedy
It
audition.
was, and you did such a good job.
It was so
she
much fun.
she was up, and the electricity went off seconds before she got up there, and it didn't even phase her.
I don't know about you just couldn't see the face. And I had a moment of abject terror trying to get up on that stage in the dark. I needed to especially thank Rod and Debbie Emerson. They're the ones that provided my good luck charm in the form of the corncob pipe, which I used as part of my shtick. The next show is going to be this coming Thursday, August the 12th. One of the cool things to come out of last week's show is that a new improv group is forming. So get your giggles on. Contact Michael Schwartz at 6328-7746.
And we are welcoming back Brian. And tell us some more about the materials and what you're doing with
Yeah,
it.
and the construction you were mentioning.
Well, after spending probably well over 2,000 hours building machines in my house to recycle plastic, cutting plastic by hand, just doing everything I could with plastic and getting to know it, I realized that I needed something that was going to use more volume and also be extremely simple, because that's the biggest issue right now with recycling, is that it's not easy. So my goal is to make this accessible to everyone, to make the process as simple as possible. And with what I'm proposing and the way I'm proposing to do it, it's going to be scalable with no infrastructure needed globally. These machines that cut plastic are located all over the world. Now, the method I'm using isn't new either. Earth bag construction. This has been used for probably 50 years or so. Back in 2015 in Nepal, when there was a 7.9 or 8.0 earthquake, there were 56 earth bag houses in Nepal. After the earthquake, there were still 56.
Wow.
And the only problems they had were minor cracks when buildings built of blocks were turned to rubble all around them. So we've seen this style of building be, hold up in the harshest of environments around the world. We have our issues here with earthquakes. So this method of building has proven itself. So what we're simply doing is marrying this method with granulated plastic. What we're looking to do is to fill these bags with plastic. It's just never been done. No one's ever put it together. Well, I've always had a great interest in sustainable building. And after getting into trying to figure out something to do with the plastics, my journey brought me here. And, it's an incredibly simple solution. And that is really important, because if you want to look to buy a new machine that's going to make plastic lumber, you're looking at $200,000. You can get one of these machines used for a couple $1,000s. And this is also the most, economically, environmentally friendly, safe, and easiest way to build a house. You could go on YouTube, anyone today, and build one of these houses right now. So what I'm looking to do is to marry these two together. I'm going to have a house hopefully started in the next few months. And as I accumulate the plastic, I'll be building up. What we're doing with a lot of rain here is we're building the roof first. So we're going to be able to build in really wet environments and have no problem with building year round. So we've got plans for everything right now that we've foreseen, but obviously with any project, you're going to have obstacles, and we're ready for them. So.
Is the roof made out of plastic too, or is that metal?
I want to get to that. For now, we're going to be using zinc.
Okay.
It's cheap. It doesn't have the largest embodied energy. So it is actually a pretty good building material that we have right now. So we'll be using zinc at this
Now,
point.
there was 2 years ago or so, there was a gal that was collecting money to buy a machine to do the plastic.
Yes.
Are you involved at that end of it? Did you inherit the machine?
I inherited the machine, and I
Okay.
used that for a long time, and it was built for home use, and I was making souvenirs, but obviously, the amount of volume we use, that machine would do nothing. So that machine is still in use right now, and it's something we're going to use for educational things, because it can be taken. It's a 220 volt. It can be taken to schools and other places. So that's a great thing for education and awareness, but I really want to tackle the problem, the amount of plastic. And what we need is big projects that bring big media attention, that can really catch the attention of the people in our town, and really do something like you guys are doing at the Feria every Friday, inspiring more people to get involved. So
I wish we could do something. I talk under my breath every time when I'm working, and people are buying little plastic bottles to drink water. I mean, they're like a couple of sips, and it includes a lid, a label, and all that. And what is the point of that? That is just so much more. I mean, I know if you have a big bottle, what I'm trying to say is these little tiny bottles there's just ridiculous amount of plastic for a couple of sips. Why not just buy a bigger bottle and put it back in the fridge, or put the lid on and drink it later?
the companies that produce it make a ton of money off that little bottle. And, I'll take the gloves off. They're looking to increase by 3 times their production yearly by 2050. plastic is so cheap. They're going after all of the poorer countries. So, what we're doing goes directly against what the plans of the producers are doing, and it's convenience. People see that bottle and they think, it's the whole idea. Just throw it away. You hear that and it's like people out of sight, out of mind. But now we can tell, if you go to Caldera, you can see that that's not the case anymore.
Brian, won't these kind of single-use things be incorporated in the initiative that Panama's doing as of July 1st to reduce and eliminate single-use plastics? I mean, they're going after things like cocktail stirrers. Surely single-use bottles would be in there too.
I would really hope so, because, seriously, you need a few sips of water for a piece of plastic that's going to last for 500 more years.
I just keep yelling, get a water filter, people.
And that's the thing that I want to stress, is that recycling, is great that people are getting involved, but it's not the answer.
No, it's
not. And
not.
I'm going to take the gloves off and say, I'm hoping 10 years that we look at recycling sort of the way we look at today of throwing trash into the ocean. Because honestly, the biggest thing we need to do, obviously, is to reduce what we're using.
Reduce.
But can we put that stress on each individual person, or do we need to put some pressure on the companies that make money off of all of this? I think it's a mixture of the both. But both need to happen with kids' gloves, at least on the side of, our fellow communities.
So,
people.
With this plastic passion, we're going to go to our next song, which is by The Cure.
Plastic passions are hard to handle. Plastic passion is a sold out scandal. It's a plastic passion. It's a plastic passion. Plastic passion is the latest lover. Plastic passion is a mobile mother. It's a plastic passion. It's a plastic passion. Plastic passion is a diamond delight. This plastic passion is a nadir of night. It's a plastic passion. It's a plastic passion. It's a plastic passion. Plastic passions are hyacinth hearts. Plastic passions are retards. It's a plastic passion. It's a plastic passion. Plastic passion, no guarantee. This plastic passion is murdering me. It's a plastic passion. It's a plastic passion. It's a plastic passion.
Welcome back to the Radio Gals. Dee and Denise, brought to you by the Tuesday Market at Tap Out. One of the best ways to fight plastic pollution is to live by example and ensure products you buy are produced with both ethics and environmentally friendly concerns. Eco Trade Company offers I guess it's Eco Trade, isn't it? Eco Trade Company offers a variety of eco-friendly products to show just how easy it can be to replace some plastic products you buy. By replacing them, you can virtually eliminate single-use plastic pollution in your area.
Have questions about getting started on your eco journey?
Do you recall the Keep America Beautiful campaign back in the States? I do. Mm-hmm. I mean, before that, people had no problem with just this is way before you were born, had no problem with just throwing their trash out the window. That was what it was. Nobody said nothing to nobody about you go to McDonald's, you just take your stuff and push at the side of the road. Nobody cared until finally It goes back about 7 decades. In 1953, the packaging industry led by American Can Company and Owens, Illinois Glass Company, inventors of the one-way can and bottle, respectively joined up with other industry leaders, including Coca-Cola and the Dixie Cup Company, to form Keep America Beautiful, KAB, which still exists today. And I think the biggest commercial that made it happen was the Crying Indian.
In 1971 was when they had the Crying Indian campaign. Iron Eyes Cody, an actor in native garb, paddles a canoe on the water that first seems tranquil and pristine, but becomes increasingly polluted along his journey. He pulls his boat from the water and walks towards a bustling highway. As he ponders the polluted landscape and stares at vehicles streaming by, a passenger hurls a paper bag out of a window. The bag burst on the ground, scattering fast food wrappers all over his beaded moccasins. In a stern voice, the narrator comments, "Some people have a deep, abiding respect for the natural beauty that was once this country, and some don't." The camera zooms in closely on Iron Eyes Cody's face to reveal a single tear falling slowly down his cheek. It's referred to as the most famous tear in American history.
Wow. Yeah, that I think made a significant difference with trash. And then they got together with fining people if you threw, I mean, there's still trash on the road. I mean, but not to the extent. And I remember what it was like when I was a kid.
So that leads beautifully to the Spanish phrase of the day.
And our Spanish phrase of the day is La protección de nuestro planeta comienza contigo. This says, protecting our planet begins with you.
And now we're back to Brian. Brian, what is your motto?
We turn pollution into a solution. So we're tackling the plastic crisis, but also the affordable housing crisis. And just a note I'd like to make, Dee, is that baby boomers are still the best group when it comes to recycling. So even with all these younger generations now that are growing up in a world that's not obviously in a much worse condition, you guys are, baby boomers are still the best ones.
Cool.
So, we got to rely on them to share their knowledge and educate the younger generations here.
Tell us more about what you want to see happen here.
I want to see people get inspired. With after the last year and a half, I think we need that. I want to see people, take responsibility for what they're doing.
Because you said you want to take this
do.
even down to the level of the school system, right?
Absolutely. It's all about the kids. It's always easier to get an adult to change something, or always more difficult to get an adult to change something than it is a kid to adapt something new. So I really want to focus on that. I want all the leaders, I'm in my 40s, so I want to see us come together to educate these kids. That's what they need. That's what they deserve, to be able to have the tools that they need to hopefully create a cleaner future.
Well, you talked about a co-op with maybe with the country of Panama trying to reuse plastic, having a cooperative store here that you could reuse those bottles of detergent and bleach and things like that. Talk about that.
How would that work?
It's one of the easiest and things we could really do right now. In my time sitting around cutting plastic for so many hours, I was cutting the big stuff because that's what, wouldn't fit into my machine. So after cutting all that stuff, I was like, what a simple answer, a co-op where we can at least take away the 5 biggest pieces by volume. So we're talking the detergents, the Clorox bleach bottles, the vegetable and olive oil bottles, and then also the vinegar bottles. So if we can take 4 or 5 things out to start with a co-op, a place that people can refill bottles, this is a system that could really easily go nationwide and also reduce our costs for these things. So not only benefit the environment, but help us all out in our wallets a little bit by reducing the cost for these items.
So I've never done something like this. I would bring you my 2-gallon bottle of bleach that's empty.
Yep.
And what would happen?
Well, and obviously there's some sanitation, there's certain things that
Sure.
need to be done. Maybe we could talk to your friends, I forget who you said, that are already producing, environmentally friendly products. Maybe they have some places where we could source those bottles. So maybe it could be a club, maybe to get in, you could get a few pieces that you could use to be able to bring back, and you'd come and we'd have 55-gallon tanks or much larger tanks that can hold a lot of these items, and you could come and fill it up yourself and be on your way. And if
Wonder
we
if
can
this works with wine.
They've been doing that for thousands of years. We'll start with the wine. There's a lot of wine bottles here in Boquete. I'll tell you,
Oh
Dino's.
my!
So
You have no idea how much alcohol this town drinks. I know.
We have a plan for the glass, though, too. A friend of mine has a machine to crush it, and we're going to be using that to backfill utilities. We're going to be using it for drainage around foundations. We're going to be using it for concrete, for flooring. There's a lot of ways that you can use glass, and like Dee said, we got a lot of it here.
But that's the one thing that is ephemeral. No, not ephemeral. That means quick. It's eternal.
Yes.
It's glass.
Yes. Well, we can just turn it back to sand with a machine
Yeah.
or something like sand and reuse it again in that way because, transportation for glass, it's so heavy. It adds up so fast. That's one of the biggest problems with recycling. Even with what we're doing right now, our plastic goes to Puerto Armuelles. It gets put into bales or it gets shredded, and then it gets sent to Brazil or to Costa Rica. So, we're exporting our trash here as well, just like a lot of countries are doing, and they're going to places that can't handle it. Or, to give you an example of why it's so unpopular, really, recycling hasn't caught on. When you look at how much it costs, I got an email from China offering to sell me, I think, 24 tons of virgin plastic for about $1,200. And I went and asked the guy at the place how much I could buy a ton of recycled plastic for, $800. So there's no incentive economically for anyone to use this stuff, and that's why it's being stored all over the world with no use for it.
Wow.
Because there's just no economic incentive.
So you said you were excited about what you could do with it. You said you want to build some bus stops and houses and something like that. I mean, it'd be cool if you started with a bus stop in town, and then people could see that.
Absolutely. It's a great idea. It's something I thought about as well. There's also red tape that goes along with working with the government. But, one thing I really want to stress is I am looking to build a business, but it's only out of the need of what we have. This isn't just a business being built for the sake of making money. It's actually not even close to that. I'd consider myself a social entrepreneur, and social, benefits come first when it comes down to it for me. And I think the money will come after, because the plan I've designed is designed to build houses, basically cash flowing properties that are going to finance the future of our recycling needs in Boquete. I want to build a network of Airbnb rentals where the landowners, hopefully a lot of locals, are earning money on their land, and we're also earning money as a company, but also giving a portion of that money monthly, so we can, by increasing funding, we can do a lot more in our town. So we want to make this business directly, its success is going to really, come back to the town. And that's why I really need the support, because we need businesses like this that are tackling these problems.
I love the idea of the bus stop because, everyone wants to go see the recycled house in Bocas. It's just one of those cool things. You go, no, is it really a castle? Yeah, it's really a castle. Yeah. And it's very cool looking. And then to see that it's all made out of, I think it's recycled plastic 2 liters, isn't it?
Yeah, it is, in smaller bottles, and that was a really cool project that's gained a lot of interest globally, which we're really hoping to do as well. One other thing that I'd like to maybe build, I could easily build a doghouse. So if there's anybody out there that has a dog in a yard, and you might like a doghouse, and you'd like to see us build one, it would use the equivalent of at least, good Lord, probably 15,000 plastic bottles just to build a little doghouse. I'm talking about building a casita, though, maybe 500 square feet, that's going to use the equivalent of about 750,000 plastic bottles. Wow. We're going to use, not to say what I didn't love what he did, but in Bocas, but we're going to use the amount that they use for the whole community. We could use that in one house. So ours is all about the volume. 10 tons of plastic for one 500 square foot house is going to make a dent.
But how long is that going to take to crush up all that? You got to have people night and day crushing up plastic.
Well, with the right machine, it wouldn't be night and day. With the machine I have right now, they said it could do 200 to 400 pounds an hour. I'm at about 50 to 60, which means, 500 pounds a day right now. This will get me to the first house, but a machine double its size would be able to do, it much easier. So that's one part of the financing that I am looking for. And I'm also looking for investors. So if there's anybody listening and you'd like to talk, let me know.
Brian, cool. What is involved in actually using the machine? Tell us about the machine.
It's a really simple, it's got jaws and it moves at about 1,500 revolutions per minute, and it just chops the plastic into tiny pieces. But this is a violent process. Plastic is incredibly hard. So I have a 5 horsepower machine now that weighs about 600 and some pounds. I bought it from the United States because one that was for sale in Puerto Armuelles actually got sold, a used machine, but I bought this one, and it's doing a good job, and it's going to get me where I want to go, but it does take labor. And I've already have someone that I've used some donations to pay him to do it. You know, it needs to benefit the town once again, create economic impact. So we are looking for donations. If people want to donate things that we can sell, and that money 100% goes to transportation and to paying labor, because I spent my Sunday yesterday cutting plastic all day because we don't have the money. And
Why
I'm
don't
gonna
you
have
ask
to
for
do it until then.
volunteers?
I have asked for volunteers, and I've gotten a couple people interested, but no one's showed up yet. So it's been
I'll
pretty
show
much all
up.
me. It is a tough process with this little machine, D. And I know you're a strong lady, but good Lord, I'm a little bit sore today.
Really?
Yeah.
It's just not pushing things in there.
It just doesn't, it doesn't have the capacity that they said it would. The machine is built really well. It's really strong, but I'm at like 1/4 of the minimum that they said I could process hourly, and I'm working this thing like a mule.
Wow.
Well, with that, we're going to go to our third song of the day. This one is actually a Spanish song, Chico de Plástico, by the infamous Ruben Blades.
I like that. That was a great plastic song. Hey, we're coming back with Brian with the plastic initiative he's got going on. And another thing, if you have any blue bottles, especially those Bombay Sapphire gin bottles, he is using that to build a wall. So I put those aside for him every week when they come in. Last week, woo, did we hit the mother load on that? Somebody came in with boxes of sapphire and woohoo. So if you have blue bottles, go ahead and bring them on into the recycling on Friday and we can use those. And so Brian, tell us how we can get a hold of you, where we can find you.
You can find me. I built a website, boquetefuerte.com. You can also reach out to me on WhatsApp, 6362-5320, or reach me at endoceanpollution@gmail.com. And what I'm asking our community is, if you guys don't have money to donate, if that doesn't work for you right now, maybe if you had things you could donate that we could sell, 100% of the money goes towards transportation and labor right now. And I'm not going to ask you guys to make this a long-term commitment. I am working daily to turn this into a profitable business that is going to ensure the cleanliness and the health of our town for future generations. You know, we need businesses working on these problems. Volunteers can't do it alone. So any way you guys can help, I'm here. Reach out to me, and I'd love to hear from you all.
Well, we definitely want to support this, especially me, but we really want to help you out as much as we can. And people, this is your way of helping out if you're not recycling, or you do have some things that maybe you make something really cool and you'd like to donate for him to sell. I think that'd be really great. So
Thanks, Dee.
Thank
I
you
really
so much
appreciate
for
that.
being here, Brian.
And with our calendar today, Monday, August the 9th is Islamic New Year 2021, referred to as Hijri 1443. It's also known as the Arabic New Year or Hijri New Year. It's the first day of Muharram, the first month of the Islamic calendar, and the days begin at sunset. This event falls on different day every year because the Islamic calendar year is 11 or 12 days shorter. In South Africa, it's National Women's Day. And then on Tuesday, Dee, what happens at the Tap Out Market?
Oh, we got Plants for Pooches and that's really cool. I've already done that. Bought some plants. Is Dog Camp's fundraising plant sale program. Dog Camp gardening volunteers, and they are fabulous volunteers. One of them is Debbie Emerson, who's out there every week setting up all those plants. And then Kathy is at the recycle, getting the plastic containers to put your plants in. But they sell them at the Tuesday market at Tap Out. All funds from plant sales directly benefit the rescue dogs at Dog Camp.
In the afternoons around 4 o'clock, you can meet over at La Posada Boqueteña. Grab a table around 4 o'clock and then enjoy alternating evenings of trivia or bingo, 730-9440. From 6 to 9 on Tuesdays is Ladies' Night at Tap Out. Free shots for the ladies. Tap Out is downtown Boquete, just across the Feria Bridge. What happens on Wednesday, Dee?
Oh, it's a drum circle at our favorite Stone Cabins Terraza at 4 p.m. The bar open and loaner drums are available for you newbies. If you have a heartbeat, you can play along, so don't be shy. Park at the Casa Vieja restaurant and walk across the footbridge onto the terraza.
This Thursday, August the 12th, at the BCP Community Chat at the library, Dr. Maria Ruiz will be discussing the future of Boquete and specifically how it relates to immigration. That'll be at 11 o'clock in the morning. Reservations the attendance is $2, and you can make reservations at www.eventsboquete.org. That afternoon, the Boquete Fotografia will be having their Zoom club meeting at 4 p.m. Email patrickallenreynolds@gmail.com. In the evening, you can join us at Tap Out for the next iteration of the stand-up comedy. That will be...
Woohoo! And you have moved on, baby.
I made it!
You deserved it.
Well, I can't wait for I'm going to pray for the power to stay on this
Yeah,
time.
I hope it does.
Also, over at the Rock Restaurant, you can hear live music from 3 Days Rain. They'll be performing classic rock, country, blues, and light jazz every Thursday from 6 to 9. Here comes your Friday, Edie.
Yep, it's August 13th is National Blame Someone Else Day.
Blaming others goes way back. It started with the first couple when Adam blamed Eve for the whole apple thing. National Blame Someone Else Day began one Friday the 13th in 1982 when Anne Mulla, when her alarm clock failed to go off and she had a whole day of bad luck.
No way.
Way. What about in Volcan?
Well, they have the Friday market at Corazon del Cilio from 9 to 11. Vendor space is always available and free. Just bring a table.
And then Tierras Altas Recicla in Volcan will be from 9 to 2. They're located behind the Junta Comunal de Volcan.
And on Friday from 9 till 2, hopefully if it doesn't rain too heavy, is Boquete Recycling at the fairgrounds. And boy, are people really getting into it, getting lots of more people. And we're looking at much better bags of things coming in. But just to let you know, if you do clean out your things like cans and bottles, which we want, and then you put it in a bag with paper or cardboard, it all gets wet. So it's better if you separate them because then we have to take the paper and throw it away. So if you're taking the time to clean, which we have to have, we can't give us dirty bottle stuff because we just throw those right into the trash. And Brian cannot use those dirty bottles for his plastic project. So you have to make sure your things are clean.
And then in the evening, you can go over to the Boquete Brewing Company from 5 to 8 and enjoy live music from Monkey Nerve. Go ahead.
Saturday, August 14th, we got the first children's choir of Boquete at the Boquete Library, free, aimed at children's 8 to 14 years old. Saturdays 1 to 4. Come by the library to join in.
That afternoon, beginning at 1, Cafe Con Leche will be live at Tap Out, Jazz Pop, and Standard Favorites.
Tap Out ACCB's second duck race fundraiser. Proceeds go to the support of the indigenous families in the comarca. Clothing, food, and cash donations will be accepted. The duck race will start at 1 p.m. with betting starting at noon. There will be 3 races with cash payout to the grand prize winner. Follow accboquete.org for more information.
And with that, we're going to go to one more little bitty song. It's a very cute one done by One More Sky, and it's called Plastic.
It's coming for you. Angry bottles in the shore. Look to the sea, there's a million more. We know something happened.
And welcome back to the Radio Gals on Radio Cherokee 103.3. Charity begins at home. Do you toss leftover fruits or vegetables? Save them and call Dorothy at La Jungla Animal Rescue 6968-6010. Her critters love that stuff.
Thank you so much, listeners, for being here today with the Radio Gals, live on Radio Cherokee 103.3 FM. Thanks to our sponsor, The Tuesday Market at Tap Out, every Tuesday morning at 9 a.m. Free entry, all Mensa guidelines observed. Please wear your mask and observe social distancing. Tune in next Monday live to hear from Filippo Marestrini and Grupo Aguas. They're the folks that keep our water coming and going where it's supposed to. Grupo Aguas takes great care of our little Jaramillo neighborhood. Listen in and hear what all they can do for you.
Need a replay of today's show? Remember that Bolivar will have us posted on YouTube. See you next week.
Adios.
Ciao.